In the heart of Ghana, there lived a cocoa farmer named Kwame. Kwame worked hard every day, tending to his cocoa trees. He loved his farm and dreamed of one day becoming rich. One sunny morning, as Kwame picked ripe cocoa pods, he thought about everything he would buy if he had more money. "I will buy a big car," he said. "And maybe a new house." Kwame's village was small, but everyone knew him as a man with big dreams. He lived in a little mud house with his wife, Oma, and their 2 children. Oma often reminded Kwame to save money for the future. But Kwame would laugh and say, "When I become rich, we won't need to save." Oma would shake her head, hoping Kwame's dreams would come true. One year, the rains were perfect, and Kwame's cocoa trees grew better than ever. The pods were big and shiny, and there were more of them than he had ever seen before. When it was time to sell his cocoa, Kwame made a lot of money. The villagers cheered for him. "Kwame is now a rich man," they said. Kwame was very proud. He counted his money every night, smiling as he planned how to spend it. Oma reminded him again, "Kwame, we should save some of this money. What if we need it later?" But Kwame didn't listen. He said, "Oma, why worry? The money will keep coming. Let's enjoy it now." Oma sighed, but she hoped Kwame's plans would bring them happiness. Kwame went to the city to buy all the things he had always wanted. First, he bought a big red car. Everyone in the village came to see it, and Kwame felt like a king. Then he bought a fancy gold watch, new clothes, and even a big radio. Oma was worried. "Kwame, we don't need all these things," she said. "We should save some money for the children." But Kwame only laughed. "Oma, life is short. Let us enjoy it while we can." The villagers began to talk about Kwame. Some admired him, but others whispered, "Kwame is spending too much. What will he do if something goes wrong?" Kwame's new lifestyle brought many visitors to his home. Friends came to admire his car and listen to his radio. Kwame enjoyed the attention and often gave money to anyone who asked. "Kwame is so generous," the villagers said. But Oma noticed something. The visitors were only interested in Kwame's wealth. They never helped on the farm or asked about the family. Oma tried to warn Kwame. "Be careful, Kwame. These people may not be real friends." Kwame didn't believe her. "Oma, don't worry. I have plenty of money, and everyone loves me now." Oma could only watch as her husband's riches slowly began to disappear. To celebrate his newfound wealth, Kwame decided to throw the biggest party the village had ever seen. He hired drummers, dancers, and cooks to prepare a feast. The smell of grilled meat and spicy jollof rice filled the air. Everyone in the village came, and even people from nearby towns showed up. Kwame wore a bright gold robe and danced at the center of the crowd. Oma sat quietly, watching as people praised her husband. "Kwame is a great man," they said. "Look how much he gives to everyone." But Oma noticed something troubling. Many of the guests whispered about how they could take advantage of Kwame's generosity. Some asked for money, while others borrowed tools they never planned to return. Oma's heart sank as she realized the party was not about celebration but about greed. After the party, Kwame felt like a hero. People visited him daily, asking for help. "Kwame, my child is sick," one neighbor said. Kwame gave her money. "Kwame, my roof is leaking," another said. Kwame bought him a new one. "Kwame, we have helped enough," she said one evening. "We need to save for our family." Kwame waved her off. "Oma, don't be selfish. I am helping the village. They will remember me as a kind man." But Oma knew the truth. These favors were not about kindness. They were draining the family's future. While Kwame was busy enjoying his wealth, the farm began to suffer. The workers he hired grew lazy because they thought Kwame was too rich to notice. The cocoa trees were not getting the care they needed. One day, Oma walked through the farm and saw weeds growing everywhere. The pods were smaller, and some trees looked sick. She went to Kwame and said, "Kwame, our farm needs attention. If we don't take care of it, we will lose everything." I know you are enjoying the story. Do not forget to like and subscribe if you are new here. Back to the story, Kwame shrugged. "The farm is fine, Oma. We can always hire more workers to fix it." Oma shook her head. "Kwame, money doesn't grow on trees, even if cocoa does." But her words fell on deaf ears. One afternoon, an old village elder came to visit Kwame. His name was Nana Kofi, and he was known for his wisdom. "Kwame," Nana Kofi said, "I see you are living well now. But tell me, what will you do if the rains stop?" Kwame laughed. "Nana, why should I worry? My farm has always provided for me. The money will keep coming." Nana Kofi frowned. "The earth is not always kind, Kwame. You must prepare for the days when it is dry." But Kwame brushed off the warning. He thought the elder was just jealous of his success. Oma, however, listened closely. She knew Nana Kofi's words held truth. The rainy season came late that year. When it finally arrived, the rains were light and didn't last long. Kwame's farm struggled to produce the same amount of cocoa as before. Kwame noticed the drop in his harvest but didn't worry. "It's just one bad season," he told Oma. "Next year will be better." Oma was less certain. "Kwame, we should stop spending and save what we have left," she said. But Kwame refused to change his ways. He continued to spend money on parties and gifts, believing his wealth would last forever. The following year, the drought came. The rains did not fall at all, and the land turned dry and cracked. Kwame's cocoa trees withered, and the harvest was the worst it had ever been. For the first time, Kwame began to worry. "Oma, what are we going to do?" he asked. Oma sighed. "I told you to save, Kwame. But now we must find a way to survive." Kwame looked around his home. The big car and fancy possessions were still there, but they could not feed his family. For the first time, he realized how foolish he had been. Kwame decided to sell his big red car. He took it to the city, hoping to get a good price. But the car had lost its value because it was no longer new. Kwame only got half of what he paid for it. When he returned home, he handed the money to Oma. "This will help us for now," he said. Kwame decided to return to the farm. He pulled out his old tools and began clearing the weeds himself. It was hard work, and his hands, once soft from an easy life, grew blistered. Oma joined him, and together, they pruned the cocoa trees and fertilized the soil. "The land will forgive us if we treat it well," Oma said. As they walked, Kwame felt a glimmer of hope. The farm had been his first love, and now he saw it as the key to rebuilding their lives. Kwame went to see the elder, Nana Kofi, who had warned him about the drought. "Nana," Kwame said, "I did not listen to you, and now my family is suffering. Please, can you guide me?" Nana Kofi nodded. "It is good that you have learned from your mistakes, Kwame. The land teaches us patience and humility. I will help you." The elder taught Kwame new farming techniques to prepare the land for future rains. He also showed Kwame how to plant crops that could survive even in dry seasons. Oma convinced Kwame to start saving again. She took charge of the little money they had left and showed him how to set aside small amounts each week. Kwame was surprised by how quickly their savings grew. "If only I had done this before," he said. Oma smiled. "It's never too late to learn, Kwame. The important thing is to never make the same mistake twice." Together, they planned how to use their savings wisely to rebuild their farm and secure their future. One day, a young man named Kojo visited Kwame's farm. Kojo was a student from the city, studying agriculture. I heard about your struggles, Kwame, Kojo said. I want to help. My school is teaching farmers how to improve their crops. Kojo introduced Kwame to new tools and methods that required less water. He also helped Kwame plant crops that would grow faster and fetch a good price at the market. Months passed, and the rains finally returned. The land soaked up the water, and Kwame's cocoa trees began to grow again. This time, the farm looked healthier than ever. Omar and the children joined Kwame to harvest the first batch of cocoa. It was smaller than before, but Kwame didn't mind. We are starting fresh, he said. The family celebrated with a simple meal, and for the first time in years, Kwame felt truly happy. Kwame decided to sell his cocoa directly to buyers in the city. With Kojo's help, he learned how to negotiate better prices. The middlemen were taking too much, Kojo explained. Now you can keep more of your earnings. The money Kwame earned was carefully saved. He bought new farming tools, but this time, he avoided flashy items. Our family comes first, he told Omar. The rest can wait. Kwame became a role model in the village. He shared what he had learned with other farmers, teaching them about saving, investing, and planning for the future. Nana Kofi smiled proudly. You see, Kwame, wisdom is like a seed. When you share it, it grows. Kwame felt a deep sense of pride, not for his wealth, but for the difference he was making in his community. With his savings, Kwame built a storage shed to protect his cocoa during the dry season. He also started a small vegetable garden to provide food for his family year-round. Omar managed the household finances, and the children returned to school. Kwame agreed. He wanted his children to have opportunities he never had. Kwame faced new challenges as he expanded his farm. Pest and disease threatened his crops, but he worked with Kojo to find solutions. Each step brought him closer to becoming not just a wealthy man but a wise and respected one. His story became a lesson for the entire village, showing that true wealth lies not in riches but in wisdom and community. If you've learned a lesson from Kwame's story, do not forget to share it with your friends. Do not also forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more African folktales.